behind the camera, they want to get this person, or this person is this, and that ain't right. As soon as the national media comes, they preying on it. Who coached them to say that?
But you know what killed, where you killed 9 people, a white man walks up in a black church, kills 9 people, and then you come out on the camera and says, I forgive you. What the hell is wrong with you?
Trying to find a way.
It's not okay.
We gonna lose an hour. We about to lose an hour in this show.
Men and women are a whole new generation. They're not trying to sit back because you know something, brother? We have passed on a legacy of cowardice to our people.
Period on the Willie Lynch letter. When or are provoked.
What the hell is wrong with you? You just killed my mother, my grandmother, my sister, my brother, and I forgive you? The hell I do?
Yeah, listen, man, I'm with you. I'm with you on
What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? A man murdered your mother, and you supposed, oh, I forgive you.
Well, it talks forgiveness is in the Bible too, so it talks forgiveness.
Not after they murder your mother.
Right. Okay.
Show me in the Bible where it says, I forgive you after you murdered my mother.
Well,
you killed my grandmother. You raped my sister. Show me in the Bible where it says that.
It don't say that, but in the 10 Commandments it says, "Thou shalt not kill," right?
Well, they didn't follow that commandment.
And it also says, "Thou shalt forgive," too.
Where? Show me in the 10 Commandments where it says, "Thou shalt forgive." We gotta pay some bills. We gotta pay some bills. Phone lines will be open at 413-736-2781. They murdered this sister in Texas. I remember in Texas, brother, several years ago, James Byrd was dragged on the back of a pickup truck.
And they didn't have no suspects for almost 2 months in that case. And
they dragged that man until his body parts broke off of his body.
Wow. Yeah.
In Texas.
Remember, Texas is one of the original 13. One of the original 13.
How in the hell do black people even live in Texas? With all of the tyranny that our people have suffered. Here it is, we're complaining and we're marching and fighting for the Confederate flag, and we caught more hell under American flag than we have some damn Confederate flag. We're gonna pay some bills. We got a phone call?
Yeah, we'll take the call first.
We're gonna take the call. Call you on the air.
Comment about what you're saying about forgiveness.
Go right ahead.
I was raised Catholic, so obviously we have to forgive, but I learned based on my experience in the past year and a half, forgiveness also helps one heal. So it's not so much about the other person, it's about yourself. So not to say what they did was right. Of course it's not to kill, murder anybody or to rape anybody. However, sometimes forgiveness just helps you heal, and that's what I've learned. So sometimes forgiveness is about the person or the party hurting, not so much about the other party who did the action.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you a scenario. You're a parent. You have a little child. Okay? God forbid. Now, this scenario has nothing to do with your child. Please understand that. But just take the scenario. And the child is maybe 4 years old. And you have some animal who rapes your child, beheads your child, burns them, and then you're without your child. Do you forgive that person? Do you forgive that person after they done raped your 4-year-old child, beheaded your child, dismembered your child, and your child was put somewhere where you can have a proper burial? Do you forgive that animal that did that to your child?
Like I said, would it hurt? Would it be horrendous? Would I always be in pain? Absolutely. Would I ever think that person's actions was okay? No. Would I ever forget? Absolutely not. But again, what I've gone through the past year and a half and things that somebody has done horribly to my family members, I learned to forgive so I could heal. Because not I mean, everybody sees it differently, but in my situation, I wasn't forgiving, so I wasn't healing because I was upset, I was won, I was hurt, I would cry about it, and that did not help me. I was letting the other person or the people who did certain things to me and my family, they were still gaining from that experience. And by me forgiving for myself, it let me heal. Would I ever think it's okay? Would I ever stop and think, okay, I forgive you for your actions because it's okay what you did? Absolutely not. I forgive to let myself heal because I would not want that other person taking anything else from me.
Right, but I understand what you're saying, and when you say forgiving for healing, there's only one definition of forgiving, and that's how I take it. But I'm not going to forgive somebody who took an innocent child away from me. I'm not forgiving. Now, what I will forgive myself for not knowing, not having knowledge, not understanding the system, I'll forgive myself for that. But I'm not forgiving myself for people taking a life away.
I'm not going to write the letters. I'm not saying that I'd be cordial or anything to that person because a part of me would always have, maybe think that thoughts myself about that person or want to do something myself. But I chose to forgive in many situations, and a person did even criminal activity to somebody in my family. And it took me years to forgive, forever, so over 9 years.
Well, what you're talking about, my dear sister, is not really forgiveness. You're talking more or less coming to terms with what has happened.
Right, exactly.
That's not really forgiveness. That's coming to terms with what's happened. But I thank you, and once again, I thank you for tuning in and being a part of the broadcast and the conversation. And, thank you. Keep calling. Thank you. 90.7 WTCC, 25 minutes on the downside. 1 o'clock, we have another call. Caller, you on the air.
Okay. How you doing? I'm just enjoying the show, but I wanted to address the young lady that was trying to explain her position on forgiveness. I think she has that backwards, and I think that she's led to believe that her way of thinking is right. Right? You can't forgive in order to heal. That's absolutely backwards. The only time that you can forgive is to heal first. Only when you heal is when you start the forgiving process. Okay? Forgiveness does not mean that you say, oh, I forgive you, and then now you can go on with your life. Because if you have any sort of animosity or ill towards the object of the forgiveness, then you're only lying to yourself. Because when you forgive, you let go and you move forward. You don't hold ill feelings towards the object that's supposed to be forgiven. Therefore, you have not forgiven. And that's the part of, I believe, which is the teachings of Christianity, which has really screwed up our people and made them sitting ducks and docile victims. All right? Now, Mr. Keaton asked the question, or I'm sorry, Brother Vernon asked the question about what would you do if somebody decapitated your daughter? You're going to forgive that person so you can heal? But all the time you're going to seek vengeance. You're going to seek vengeance on this person in the form of, I hope he goes to jail. You haven't forgiven anybody. So, young lady, if you're still listening, you're backwards. You heal first so you can forgive. The only time that you can forgive is when you have love in your heart to do so. You don't have love in your heart if you're forgiving first and trying to heal later. You just came to terms, and that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your call, caller. We got another caller. Caller, you on the air. You're on the air, caller. Hello? Yes, you're on the air. Turn your radio down, okay, and just talking to your phone. Because right now you're listening to the radio and you're getting feedback, and there's a delay. So turn your radio off and just make a comment. Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Man, sometimes you listen to some of these people or the way they speak. Because even like, I was having a conversation with a minister and was talking about even how we black people are get fooled. talking to our minister about even the killing the other day, and he gonna look at me and told me that God get His glory out of that. I said, what? Because they was in the presence of God when they get killed.
Wow.
I said, are you telling me that God get His glory out of that when wife, family, kids are hurting, when somebody murder them like that? I said, these are the foolishness that we are preaching in church. I listened to you earlier about how Minister Farrakhan would love for all the black to be free. But not only all the black to be free, but as well as the white. Because when you have hatred in your heart for others, that means you still are in bondage. You're not free as well. But the Christian, for me, I would love my black people to be free. Because all black men, they judge the same. Simply mean I'm saying that I was driving, my headlight was on, the cops pulled me over. All you have to say to me, why do your headlight is off? But you want to run my license. Took about 8 to 10 minutes to run my license. Because why it took 10 minutes to run my license? Because all black men are criminals. Anyway, so back to Mr. Farrakhan, as well as a lot of us want the black to be free. But a Christian, I would like to ask, is it the black themselves? Some black want themselves to be free. Let's go back in the Bible, when God sent Moses to free the people from Egypt after they cried so many years. But while they was on the road to freedom, all they can see was fear men behind them. On the left was a mountain, on the right is a mountain, and in front of them is the Red Sea. And they said, let us go back to Egypt. We was better there. So this is what some of the black men are saying, that we don't want to be free. We want to be controlled. We want to have the whip over our back. So Minister Farrakhan, as much as many of our black leaders want the black to be free, but the black have to, as well as working with those who are working for them to be free. Because one man alone cannot carry the load. Not even 10 men alone cannot carry the load. 1,000 men cannot carry the load. All black have to come together because we are all black people. If you go back to even the church is not even set an example for the black race. We don't have no strong leader out there teaching these youth that they're a better life. All they can see is the gun and the cracks, and all they can see is money in front of them, and all they can see is to live a luxury life. But the luxury life are messing up the black race. Until all the black men can come together in this country, in America, because all of us are seen as a terrorist. Simply mean, I was look at P. Diddy and the guy who shoot up the church. They saw him as somebody that mentally disturbed and killed 9 people. P. Diddy had a argument with a coach, his coach for the basketball. Yet still, he was charged with 3 counts, deadly weapons, and making terrorist threats. So P. Diddy himself seen as a terrorist in this country when you're a black man. So we are all, the black men in this country, are in a dangerous zone. And why I'm saying that they are in a dangerous zone, because they are hated by the law, and then again they are hated by some of their own black men. So we have to walk a very thin line when it comes on to the law, and when it comes on to some of our own black men, until they can look into themselves and everybody will be free, the black and the white. Because when you hate people, you're not free. You're living in bondage. You're living in fear. You're not living in love. You don't believe in yourself. You don't know who you are. So anybody who has hate in their heart don't know who they are. And I don't care, they are children of the devil. They could be from the white. They could be from the black. Any race. Or they have hate in their heart for an next man. They are children of the devil. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much for your call. We have another caller calling on the air.
Yes, sir. Brother Shabazz here. I really appreciative of the program today.
Dr. Shabazz, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir? Oh, so good to hear from you, brother.
We've got another community forum. The Brother Darrell Moss and the folks have scheduled another community forum like we had a little while back. I was in New York at the time, but they plugged me in. I thought that was a good start. Have we had another forum since then?
No, we haven't, but I have something that I would like to discuss with you, and I'll do that. I'll give you a call after the show, because we are mobilizing here in the city of Springfield, and Brother Eddie and Sister Vera are joining us as we meet next Wednesday for the local organizing committee of the 20-year anniversary of the Million Man March, Justice or Else. And I'm sure you've heard about, we're all going back to Washington, D.C., and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is calling for justice or else. And we're organizing here in the city of Springfield, and we're asking our brothers and sisters from Amherst to come to our meeting on Wednesday at 7 o'clock at the mosque. And I'm hoping and praying that you will be in attendance, my brother.
Ready to go. I told Brother Ed and Dara already, I'm ready to go.
Praise be to Allah.
You should know my first time. It's 35 years ago. It's the 35th anniversary for me right now this summer when I first met the Honorable Brother Louis Farrakhan. It was in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the meeting of the National Black Political Assembly, which launched the independent party effort at that conference called the National Black Independent Political Party. That was in summer of 1980. He called all of the college students up to his suite in the Omni Hotel right next to the Superdome to come up, and that was my opportunity. I've been hearing, I've been reading, and finally I had the opportunity to meet him at that time, and he left a kind of impression on me, my brother, as you would think a major great historical figure would leave. But I tell you, it goes beyond just uttering words about it, because where he was, and you know this from reading the Quran, the struggle is not only an external struggle with powers and principalities, with governments and with systems, it's also an internal struggle. And when he got us up there to that room, to his suite, he had us up there, about 20, 30 of us or so. His thing was, he wasn't on the external larger struggle. He was addressing us about what is your struggle inside yourself.
Yes, sir.
To reclaim your mind, your African mind, on behalf of yourself and your family and your community and your nation. What are you doing? And that was the message. Now, later that evening, after his keynote address to the National Black Political Assembly, he spoke on Armageddon. And he went into the larger global international struggle. He predicted where we were going in terms of the Reaganomics that was coming, which wasn't even clear it was going to be Reagan at that time. But he foresaw, and he told us dark times are coming. And he went into the whole thing of what Armageddon meant. Oh, I remember that. So that was the larger global thing he did at the public level. But at the internal level, with us up in the room, just talking one-on-one, it wasn't on all of that. It was on what are we doing to reclaim our soul, our mind, what we need to grow and to sustain ourselves. And it was very profound with us. So definitely, and I'm amazed how his health and everything is so that he's still going to be out here, not only 20 years for the 20th anniversary of the Man March, but like I said, this is a brother who's been in the struggle with, for his people, what, my brother, over 50, 60 years?
Yes, sir.
Still going around the country like this?
At 82 years old, he is still going strong for the resurrection of our people.
Healthy. That's living right. That's what he talked to us about. He started off talking about you are what you eat, and he started going into what are you putting in your body? Huh? What food, what drugs, whatever. What are you putting in your body? Start right there and use your mind to look at everything you put in your body, whether it's giving you life abundantly and energizing you in a positive way, or is it just breaking your body down, breaking you down to where you can't fight, where you can't do the most for yourself and for your community, your family, and your people? That's where he started. I remember just that's 35 years ago, man, and I remember as if I was talking to you yesterday. he broke it down. And we all, and he gave me my copy of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's on Live, Eat to Live. He gave me my copy right there in New Orleans.
Praise be to Allah.
Oh, praise be to Allah. So this is where we are, and I just want to say, the thing 20 years ago with the Vegan Man March, the thing was not only about the violence, and there was a lot of violence then, but the thing is to understand violence more so than the gangs and the shootings, and that's all always tragic and terrible, but it's also the structural violence of the unemployment, of the bad housing, of the bad food, of the bad conditions, and how do we organize for power to change those conditions? That's what I remember as being so central to the notion of the black agenda that we were working on, that spun off. Because, a lot of it was about atonement. A lot of it was about, again, that internal level of
Yes, sir.
we're doing to love each other better and to work with each other better. But beyond the atonement dynamic, which was the main thing, what spun off was the idea of a black agenda. And I think that now more than ever, because so many of our people are lost, we new black, we post-black, we anything but just straight up, black. We everything else, quasi-black, anti-black, and it's time to get back to basics and say, what are the politics that we want to see? What are the policies that we want to see to improve our conditions, and then hold each and every politician from the dog catcher on up to the President of the United States to articulate how they're going to work for that kind of policy, and not just give us lip service about I'm going to be the first woman, or I'm going to be this, or I'm going to appoint this, that, or the other, all that symbolic stuff, but to talk specifically to the agenda and not to the symbolism and the this and the that. That's where I hope we also are going to have into the discussion. I thank you, my brother, for this time.
Dr. Spaz, it is always an honor and a privilege, and I pray that Allah continues to bless you and your family, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at Muhammad's Mosque number 13 for our local organizing meeting for the 20-year anniversary of the Million Man March, Justice or Else. I am looking forward to seeing you, my brother.
Quran, my brother, and if Allah grant me the power and the strength to be there, I shall be there.
Thank you so kindly, my brother. May Allah bless you. We have another caller?
Yeah, we can't even. we got another caller, man. Actually, we'll get it right on. Caller, you on here?
Good afternoon, brothers.
Good afternoon.
I want to make a couple of comments. First, I'm sure that you're aware that there has been for quite some time a worldwide conspiracy to eliminate the whole black race off of the face of the earth.
No.
No matter what part of the earth you're in, they're out to get us. And to some degree, there's two sides to that forgiveness thing. I mean, you can say it's for you, but for them to come out that fast to say I forgive you was just as shocking as the crime itself.
Exactly.
And I think in that particular case, maybe that should have been something that they had held internally instead of expressing it verbally, because it showed too much submission too soon. It more or less gave them a go ahead and keep killing them card, because all they're going to do
is forgive you.
Is say we forgive you.
Right.
They might walk up the street a couple of times, and it just. But I believe that passive behavior. I'm sure you're aware. It all started back in slavery, because the so-called slave master had all the cards against us. We didn't rise up then, not as often as we should have. I mean, and so it seemed like to me it goes back to that behavior that started back in slavery times. Now, this sister, Sandra Bland, that policeman, he seemed to have had that slave master mentality where whatever I tell you to do, you must do, whether it's in relationship to the law or not. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of comedians, make jokes about, well, when a black man gets stopped, the changes that they go through, and when a white person gets stopped by a white cop, how they can say anything they want to a cop. You know what I mean? But to tell his sister to put her cigarette out in her car, that's not within in the law. So he's trying to, and there was a lot of tweets going out saying, well, you're supposed to do everything the policemen say, have a certain attitude, and not say anything. Well, if that's the case, then that should be that way with everybody, but it only pertains to us. So we don't have any rights. We're not recognized as a human being on any level. They give more respect to animals than they do to us. But right now, it's almost too late in the game because the cards are more or less stacked against us. I mean, all these other cultures have fought. They'd rather die than go through the rhythm that, we're going through, and I applaud them for that. But, first of all, you're only going to have a handful of our people that are going to be willing to go down, to the ground when it comes time. A lot of people talk about what they're going to do, but when the time comes, and I've experienced that, so I know firsthand that, first of all, if there's no unity, no matter what kind of plan you come up with, it's just not going to work. Because half of the people, and so it's a tough situation, but the only thing that I can say is that it may not sound okay with a lot of people, but the only thing I can say is, when people turn away from the Creator, that's when they get in a lot of trouble. And now the evilness and the Satanism in this world has got people doing things that are turning them away from God, walking around half naked, doing this or that. And I believe on your show one time, a few weeks back, I believe someone said that, okay, one of your relatives or your brothers and sisters or your girlfriend or wife or husband, they do something to you, might take 20 years for you to forgive them. But as soon as the white man do something, oh, I forgive you. Now, what's up with that? But that's all I got to say, brothers. I hear you.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments, and we appreciate your comments and all that. But like I said, look, back to this forgiveness issue, and Brother Johnny said it well. It's, at some point, you have certain, I'm not going to talk about religions, I'm going to say this. You have certain beliefs that teach you to be submissive. Let's just say it what it is, to be submissive. When these people get in front of these cameras, they can be coached by the attorneys, or they can be coached by the media. Always have the forgiveness in your heart, smile. Okay, you're on live, you're on the camera, say it. But I want to say this, man. For us to be sitting on a porch stool, and for a little girl to be murdered right in front of me, Brother Johnny, and for somebody to turn around to me and say she in God's hands now, is out of their mind. And for somebody to say it was her time, you're out of your mind.
Trying to find a way.
It's not okay.
We're gonna lose an hour. We about to lose an hour in this show.
Men and women are a whole new generation. They're not trying to sit back because you know something, brother? We have passed on a legacy of cowardice to our people.
Period on the Willie Lynch letter. When or are provoked